All right, folks, welcome back for our final dissection with our rabbits. So we have our kidneys here on either side, and from the kidneys you can see this one, especially on this side, it's very nice. You can see this is the ureter coming all the way down, and you can see it goes right here. After here you kind of lose sight of it, but it's eventually coming here because this is the urinary bladder. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to pull up on this kidney here and carefully raise, hopefully without breaking anything. This is the ureter, and I'm just kind of pulling it out of that fascia. And as I'm doing so, all right, so you can see it coming all the way down here, and it actually is connecting here with our urinary bladder. Okay, now we can also see here that there is our blood vessels coming to and from the kidney. So we have our renal artery and our renal vein here, and this is the attachment of the ureter. So this is going to be our renal hilum, and I'm going to go ahead and snip there. I didn't have to snip, I pulled hard enough, and we can see the rough kidney bean shape. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to cut this open just like we did our sheep kidney, and we are going to slowly and carefully, cutting away from ourselves, cut both ways, and then open it up. Ooh, and that looks pretty good actually. So we can see here the lighter portion along the outside, that's going to be your renal cortex. The darker portion is going to be your renal medulla, and I really like here, you can see the calyces. You guys see those calyces there? So we have at least two minor calyces, and they are flowing into a major calyces there. Okay, and of course this is coming down into our renal pelvis, and then our renal pelvis is going to move into the hilum and then dump our urine into the ureter. Okay, so that hopefully was all review because we've already done our sheep kidney dissection. But the new information here, we have a female rabbit, and so this female rabbit has a bicornuate uterus. So this structure right here on my probe, that is one side of the uterus, and I'm just going to pull it away a little bit, and it comes all the way up here, and then you guys see this very pale blob right there. That is an ovary. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I don't know, it might break. So I'm going to be very careful here because there's a lot of connective tissue that is holding it in place. We actually know the name of a lot of this connective tissue, right? But, ooh, I think we're going to get it. We did. Yay. Okay. So that is the uterus. And then this structure right here, that is one of our ovaries for this rabbit. Okay, so essentially this rabbit has the exact same structure on this side as well. So this is, we call it bi because it's two, and then we have that there, and then there is another ovary over here, which I don't know that you can see at the angle you're at, but I'll try to tip it a little bit, and that is another ovary there. So rabbits have litters of multiple babies at once, and so because of that they have these two different horns of the uterus, and so they can have multiple babies gestating on either side, unlike humans where it's basically one cavity and we can only easily have 1 to maybe 3 babies. Other than that, you'd need some medical assistance usually for it to happen. I also want to point out this is the end of the rectum that we cut previously, okay? So we are all done with the female rabbit, and I will be showing you a male rabbit in just a moment. All right, folks, so we now have a male specimen opened up, and I just want to point out we still have 2 kidneys here, and the kidneys still have ureters that are coming down this way. The urinary bladder is not quite as visible on this one just because it's not as distended. So the other one had a lot of urine, and so it was very visible. This one not so much. This is just extra stuff I'm kind of moving out of the way, and I'm going to try to see if we can, there we go, pull up the ureter. And we know the ureter is going to the urinary bladder, which is further down there, so it's kind of deep in this one, okay? And part of that is because this is a male. Right, so we're going to spend more of our time kind of looking over at the maleness of this. So in between his legs here, we're going to probably have to push to break his legs a little bit to have a nice view. But we do have his testicles here on either side. And so I am going to just try to lift this one up for you. And again, it's going to be attached with the posterior abdominal wall with some tissue. So I'm just going to kind of lightly pull that away. And we can see right here that we have that. And I'm going to use my scissors to cut down just a little bit because we need to get into the scrotal sac. We have removed the skin when we skinned the rabbit before, and so we can see most of it, but we do have a thin muscle layer here. So this is the cremaster muscle that is surrounding right now, and I want to try to pinch that up, and once I pinch it up, I'm just going to do a light flick with my scalpel. Don't cut down into it. We just want it pinched and then flick it up so that we have a hole that we can get our scissors in to cut open that cremaster muscle. And we're going to go ahead and cut that open. When we do so, we should be able to get the testicle out. There we go. So here is the rabbit testicle. And I'm going to pull it up here, the cremaster, a little bit. And let's see if we can cut this open a little bit more and see where these tissues are going. All right, so that looks great. So now I've released it from the tissues, and you can see that this portion here is the testicle, and then here we have the epididymis, and then the epididymis is going to go up this tube here, which is your vas deferens. And remember, your vas deferens is part of your spermatic cord. So in here, we have the vas deferens, but we also have arteries and veins that together become the spermatic cord. And you can see that it's moving up this direction because we should, back here, move that aside, connect. So this is the urinary bladder here. It's connecting behind the urinary bladder, and it should, yes, so it should be getting fluid from the seminal vesicles, and then it's going to connect with the urethra further back there. Now, I do want to draw your attention back down this way because we can see the tip of his penis. So I'm going to kind of cut just a little bit because it is right attached to the tail. And so there we go. All right, so you can see the urethral opening right there of the penis. So that is the urethral opening, and you can see that the tip of the penis has become unsheathed from the prepuce here. Okay, so the penis is retractable in a rabbit, and unlike humans, so it will go inside when not in use, and so his is partially outside, and so that was probably a reflex that happened in death. Okay. And that pretty much finishes us up with our rabbit friends, and so I'll see you guys next time.